Russia has marked the 80th anniversary of the defeat of Nazi Germany in World War II with a massive military parade on Red Square today. The parade was attended by President Vladimir Putin and a slew of foreign leaders, including Chinese President Xi Jinping. Russian President Vladimir Putin hosted the parade under tight security and a short ceasefire. This year's Victory Day parade coincides with Russia's ongoing war on Ukraine. Our next report brings you all the details.
Today, Moscow's Red Square played host to a grand military parade as Russia commemorated Victory Day, marking the Soviet Union's triumph over Nazi Germany in World War II. However, this year's celebrations unfolded under heightened security, following days of intense Ukrainian strikes targeting the Russian capital. The parade saw tight security measures in central Moscow. Ground troops numbering around 11,000 marched through Red Square. Russia paraded combat drones that its forces are using in the war in Ukraine on Moscow's Red Square. This was done for the very first time during a Victory Day event as per the state media. At the parade, Russia not only displayed its latest weaponry but it also hailed its ties with China and North Korea. President Vladimir Putin was seen embracing North Korean officials, and it comes amid growing camaraderie between Moscow and Pyongyang against the backdrop of the war in Ukraine. A contingent of Chinese troops also took part in the parade. In his address, President Putin appreciated the courageous people of China for their contribution to victory in World War II.
We will always remember that the opening of the Second Front in Europe after decisive battles on the territory of the Soviet Union brought the victory closer. We highly value the contribution to our common struggle by the soldiers of the Allied armies, the resistance fighters, the courageous people of China, all those who fought for a peaceful future.
For President Putin, the presence of China's Xi Jinping is undoubtedly a significant diplomatic win. The two leaders were seen seated side by side during the parade. They held discussions prior to the parade, including informal talks on the situation in Ukraine. In his address, Putin also declared that truth and justice are on our side in the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Other leaders in attendance were Brazilian President Lula da Silva, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, Serbian President Alexander Vučić, and Slovakia's Prime Minister Robert Fico. Notably, the only European Union leader to attend. This attendance comes despite a clear message from the EU's foreign policy chief Kaja Kallas, urging European leaders to abstain due to Russia's war in Ukraine. Russian President Putin had unilaterally announced a 3-day ceasefire to coincide with his 80th anniversary event. However, this was rejected by Ukraine, which branded it a theatrical show. Kiev says that since the supposed ceasefire came into effect yesterday, their forces have faced thousands of attacks, while Russia insists that the truce is being observed by their side and accuses Ukraine of violations. As Victory Day concludes in Moscow, the contrast was stark between the celebratory atmosphere and the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, marked by contested ceasefire claims and continued violence with no permanent truce in sight.